In terms of navigating things in the field, I got both lucky and unlucky by learning a lot from my very first experience of producing what I consider my first adult work on kidnappings in Chechnya. I think the first time I started to work with conflict, I didn't really have any precaution mechanism in place, and I didn't really take care of myself, and I got very close. I would come over and do gardening with people whose rooms I have photographed. I've made a lot of friends. I've actually lived in the house of Natalia Estimirova, who later herself was kidnapped and killed. And I think when that happened, I haven't had enough experience of being this close to be traumatized. And in a process while working, I'm not, like most journalists who cover conflict, I'm not actually constantly running in places, talking to people, exposing myself. I spend larger part of my work sitting at my desk and reading books and documents and emailing people. And then I spend some part of my job in the field, but then, I eat well, I live in Europe, and it all comes to balance. And the older I get, the more I work with this, the more it's just a job that I do, and the more there is certain distance for me that helped me to self-preserve, which I think is very important. I don't think if you're not well, or if you're affected emotionally, I don't think that you can produce work and judge your output adequately. Am I satisfied with the result? I think if I was satisfied with the result, I will quit this job and do something that is a lot more comfortable and less frustrating. I've learned to find contentment in what I do. I love the labor, but as someone once said, you can only be entitled to labor, not the fruits of your labor. So I don't expect to be satisfied with the result. I find to demand change as a direct response to what I do would be really oversimplifying the systems of change. I think change is a really messy affair, which is also my issue with traditional forms of activism. It's never been my objective to give you something so that you can go out and do something. I think just an act of you going over it and reading over it with me, or researching this with me, following those traps, it's already you acting or doing something differently, thinking about things differently, and that's a component of change. There were moments where someone got killed and I felt like, come on, something can be done. But this also very quickly changed with this desire, also very quickly changed with the realization that, okay, we need to have the courage to look at something and say, well, there is nothing I can do, and still be able to look at that. In regard to traditional investigative research practices, what I've noticed and what I've been grown gradually frustrated with both journalism and research documents is that often it portrays as a magic power that you can do only being in that position. And in response to that, I've recently begun to reveal some of my process by color coding different sources and threads of information. For example, I would color code things that are available in raw format in terms of documents in the local language of a country where I'm doing an investigation. I will color code things that are available in multiple European languages on Google. I will color code things that become available through Freedom of Information request. I will color code things that are available from a community of different other researchers that are studying the same matters. That is sort of open source, but not really. You get it through being part of a community.